Eggs, we all eat them, but for decades, wow, they have been at the center of this huge nutritional debate. Are they the perfect food, or are they actually a danger to your heart? Well, today, we are going to crack open that egg enigma and get to the bottom of it once and for all.
Yeah, that's really the big question, isn't it? Are we talking about a superfood here or a cholesterol bomb? Let's dive in and find out. It feels like for years, eggs have been praised one minute and then completely demonized the next. It's confusing, right? So today, we're going to look at the actual science to finally settle the score. Okay, so to really get a handle on this whole debate, we have to start with a number one controversy, the thing that started all the fuss in the first place, cholesterol. Let's crack that myth wide open. So why all the drama? Well, it really boils down to this one number, 186 milligrams. That is the amount of cholesterol you'll find in just a single large egg. And believe me, for a long, long time, that fact alone was enough to get them put on the nutritional naughty list. Okay, but here's where things get really interesting. And this is probably the most important thing to understand. We have to separate dietary cholesterol, that's the stuff you eat, from blood cholesterol, which is the stuff that's actually floating around in your body. See, your liver is a cholesterol-making machine. It produces most of what your body needs. And it's smart. When you eat more cholesterol, your liver just goes, okay, I'll make less today. It regulates itself. So what does that mean? Well, it means that for the vast majority of people, the cholesterol you get from food, it just doesn't have a big impact on the cholesterol levels in your blood. The connection simply isn't as direct as we all used to think. Now, of course, everyone's body is a little different, so the response can vary from person to person. But I have to be clear here. This isn't a totally settled, case-closed debate. The scientific community is still looking into this because, honestly, different studies have come up with different results. And that's exactly why the advice on eggs seems to change every few years. With all that said, there are some folks who might need to be a bit more cautious. We're talking about people with certain genetic conditions that mess with how their body processes cholesterol, or carriers of a specific gene variant called APOE4. And of course, if you already have high cholesterol, you should definitely chat with your doctor about your diet. And just to add one more layer to this whole thing, it turns out not all bad LDL cholesterol is created equal. Yeah, really. Think of it like this. You've got these small, dense, angry little particles that are really bad for you. But you also have these larger, fluffier particles that aren't nearly as dangerous. And what's interesting is that some research suggests that when eggs do raise LDL, they tend to increase the less bad, large, and fluffy kind. All right, so we've tackled the big, scary cholesterol concern. Let's put that aside for a minute and look at what's actually inside an egg, because there's a really good reason people call them nature's multivitamin. Just take a look at this. I mean, it's pretty incredible, right? For only about 78 calories, you're getting 6 grams of top-notch protein. And look at those vitamins. You're getting a huge chunk of your daily B12 and riboflavin, plus a nice dose of selenium. It's no wonder some people call eggs pretty much the perfect food. They've got a little bit of almost every single nutrient our bodies need. Now, let's talk about one of the egg's unsung heroes, choline. You probably don't hear about this one as much as, say, vitamin C, but trust me, it is absolutely essential. It helps build your cell membranes, and it's crucial for your brain. And a single egg packs about 147 milligrams of it. That's a huge step towards what you need every day. So, okay, we know they're packed with all these amazing nutrients, but what does that actually do for us? What are the real-world, full-body benefits of eating eggs? Let's get into it. First up, let's talk about your eyes. The yolk of an egg is loaded with these two powerhouse antioxidants called lutein and zeaxanthin. And get this, they actually accumulate in the retina of your eye. They're like internal sunglasses, protecting you from damage and seriously lowering your risk of nasty age-related stuff like cataract and macular degeneration. Plus, they've got vitamin A, another vision superhero. Okay, what about weight management? This one's actually pretty simple. Eggs are packed with protein, right? And protein makes you feel full. It's just a fact. So if you eat eggs for breakfast, you increase that feeling of fullness or satiety. And what happens then? You just naturally end up eating fewer calories later in the day. There was one study where people who had eggs for breakfast ate about 180 fewer calories at lunch. That's a big deal. And here's another thing to keep in mind. Not all eggs are the same. You've probably seen those omega-3 enriched eggs at the store. Well, they come from chickens that are fed things like flaxseed, and they can be especially good for your heart.
Research shows they're really effective at lowering something called blood triglycerides, which is a major risk factor for heart disease. Okay, we have waded through the cholesterol controversy, we've seen the incredible list of nutrients, and we've talked about the real health benefits. I think it's time to pull this all together and deliver the final verdict.
So let's answer the big question. Are eggs good for you? Look, for most people, the answer is a big, resounding yes. They're unbelievably nutritious, a true multivitamin with high-quality protein. That old cholesterol myth, it's largely been busted, even though the science is still evolving. And the benefits, from your eyes to your waistline, are pretty clear. The bottom line is this. For most of us, eggs are a perfectly safe, healthy, and awesome choice.
And there you have it. We've cracked the case, sorted the science from the myths. So now the only real question left is, what's the verdict for your breakfast?